Welcome to 2023 meeting for the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crispin. So, of course, it's that time of the year. We're getting close to Christmas time. This is our last official meeting of 2023. We do have a special meeting tomorrow night, but as far as the official meeting, this will be our last one for the year. So with that said, I want to wish everybody in the community, everybody that's watching, a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, because we won't have another meeting until next year. But aside from that, I know later this week we have a huge tournament, which is always a great event, and they work so hard on this event. The holiday basketball tournament that's been happening, I believe this is the 56th year, so it's been happening it's just a long-standing tradition. So knowing that's coming into our community later this week, I want to welcome everybody into our community. Welcome them. Just take a look downtown and take a look at all the changes we have in our community, and I think you'll be happy with what we've done so far in the past few years. So all those communities that come in, McClave, Wiley, Grenada, Hawley, Kit Carson, I'm sure I'm missing one, Walsh, Springfield, and then I'm sure there's a few more that I'm missing, Eads. But as you come into Lamar, we want to welcome you, and we hope you have a great tournament, and we wish. That said, well, we're going to start our meeting. We have an invocation with Jeff Alexander.
Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the opportunity to come together this evening to deal with the business of our community, wisdom and direction, for blessing upon the tournament that's coming here this weekend. For all of the business that needs to be done, we ask for your watch care over our police, our fire people, the city workers on the streets, and each place. And we just thank you for this meeting and ask for blessing in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Councilman Smith, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:02 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez.
Present.
Mike Bellamy.
Here.
Jerry Jenkins. Here. Kirk Crespin.
Here.
David Zavala.
Here.
Manuel Temez.
Here.
Brent Bates.
Here.
Rob Evans.
Here.
Kristen Swartz. Here. Lance Clark.
Here. Okay, we've all had an opportunity to review the consent agenda. Were there any items that needed to be removed or separated out for a vote?
I didn't see anything.
I didn't come across any.
Okay. Seeing none, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Well, second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as submitted. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Next item on the agenda, we have audience participation. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the agenda. Individuals or speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and that is at the discretion of the council. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak to the council? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the city treasurer's report.
Thank you. I had a few grants I wanted to give you an update on. We were able to close some out in the past couple weeks since the last meeting. The project at the Pocket Park was finally completed. That was a revitalizing Main Street grant that we've had since 2018, I believe. We were able to close that one out. We got the lighting and heating elements all put in, so that one was finished. The east side sidewalks are, I'm going to say 99.5% complete. Stephanie needed to check a couple of items to make sure before we close that one out, but it will be complete by the end of the month. And then I was able to close out a couple airport grants. We had the runway paving, the crack ceiling grant that was completed, and also taxiway A design was complete as well. So wanted to report that we were able to close out several of them over the past few weeks. And we do have the application due again, just as a reminder, Friday for the GOCO grant for the the master plan for the recreation. And so we have a meeting tomorrow morning to finalize our application and get that turned in. So that was all I had, unless somebody had questions for me.
Not looking at a specific or the exact number, but do you have a ballpark of how much we received in grants this year? I know it's kind of putting you on the spot, but
I think the last report that I made to you was around $11 million. So I'd be glad to update you on the next meeting at where we're at and how many we've completed.
that would be great. And it's just, a lot of people don't realize how much we receive in grants and how much work is being done on grant process, so.
And we're also been working on the water stuff too. So we've been meeting here and there, and we're getting a plan on that as well. So
Great.
that's also going forward. So that was all I had.
Any questions
Any
from
more
the council?
questions?
Thank you, Kristen.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we'll move on to the next item, which is the city clerk's report. Linda?
I only have one report tonight. So the October sales and use tax collected in November was $414,407.60, which was up 3.75%, or $14,983.22 from 2022. Our year-to-date collections were $4,782,496.25, which is up 5.59%, or $253,182.04 from 2022. That is all I have.
Okay. Are there any questions for the city clerk from the council?
Thank you, Linda.
Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the city administrator's report.
All right, the first one I'm going to say is I'm sorry we're not going to have coffee with Rob this week. I get to go home and see my mom. Let's see, the holiday food drive is still going till December the 20th. The donations are for the Sparrow House Ministries. We have a special council meeting tomorrow at 6:30 here in the city council chambers. As we mentioned a couple times already, the holiday basketball tournament, December 14th to the 16th at the community building. The Lamar Rotary and Public Library Kids Christmas is happening December 16th at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. downstairs in the Cultural Event Center. They're going to have craft snacks, free books for all the kids that show up, treat bags, train rides, hot chocolate, pop-up Santa Museum. There's a lot. It's just going to, like she says all the time, it's an overload of cuteness too. So you're going to see lots of kids and lots of messy chocolate faces. All right, city offices are going to be closed Friday, December 22nd, and Monday, December 25th. And we're also going to be closed on January the 1st, since we won't have another meeting before then. Our next common grounds will be January the 3rd at 7 a.m. in the Cultural Center downstairs. And let's see, I think we're going to go ahead and do Public Works for that one. We'll come talk to somebody from Public Works, ask them how things go. Friends of the Library monthly book sale, January 5th to the 6th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Projects updates, you've heard of some of them already, but we've got some more signs up if you haven't seen. We got a nice sign helping people get out to the North Gateway Pond. We've, let me see, we've had a lot of annual training lately. This room has been full and downstairs have been full. We've had a lot of training for all of the people, and annually you got to redo these things so everybody's safe when we go out there. And let's see. Oh yeah, ongoing development for our comprehensive plan. They're developing mailing lists. We're going to have our survey coming out soon at the beginning of the year, so that's still ongoing. So in miscellaneous, if you guys had any questions or anything on specific projects, I know I've had a couple of extra things to track down for a few people, but if you still had any questions, I would be glad to look them up.
Oh, I do have one question to ask. Sorry.
It's okay.
The meat packing plant, old one. One of the ladies was telling me that they need something done because the mice are bad and they're going toward.
Spreading everywhere else too? Okay.
Yeah. She would really like to see what could be done.
I will look into that one for you. Anything else?
Think we could gather up the stray cats in Lamar and
If we can get a couple of the people that are feeding all the stray cats to start feeding them over where the mice are at, maybe we could kill two birds with one stone, so.
One of the things you didn't have on the, your list of events was on the 17th at noon, the Lamar Theater and Community State Bank will be having the free matinee at the movie. and it's the
Polar Express again?
Yes.
Yeah.
They've done this every year for 14 years now. So as far as with the new owners, we'll still continue to do that. So I thought I'd
That's
put that
awesome.
plug in.
I forgot about that. I had taken that off when I didn't know if we were going to do it or not, and then when we found out, I did not put that back on. That's on me, but
So-
Polar Express, it was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah. They'll have the dancers there and notables, and I believe Santa will also be there that day. So for those who are watching, you're welcome to bring your children.
Free movie.
Okay. Any other questions for the city administrator? Seeing none, we'll move on to new items, or actually new business. We have a public hearing for the adoption. Oh, no, we'll start with reports and correspondence. I got my stuff mixed up here. Do we have any reports and correspondence from the council?
I don't have any.
Mike?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Had a senior board meeting today. So you can get a membership at the senior center. They're due this, New Year's coming up, so now it's time to renew your membership. It's $5 a year, 50 and above to get that. Of course, you'll get a newsletter sent to you every month, I believe, and access to events. So far, they're up to 53 members, so that's doing good. Tomorrow, of course, is commodities. They have a thing called senior boxes there also. You have to put in an application in advance, 60 and older, regular commodities. It's first come, first serve. You line up on Beach Street at approximately 5:30 a.m. is when people start lining up, even though they don't pass it out till 7:45. So it's a big, I think they had 126 boxes that they prepared today to go out. If you have any questions on any of that, you can contact Sherry Settles, 719-691-1484. And they elected they have 3 new board members. They had their annual election. And those board members are Bill Langdon, Nancy Idler, and Carolyn Cannell. And they're still open to rentals in the building there. You can either contact the city offices or Sherry Settles. Both, I think, handle that.
Okay,
That's all I have.
thank you.
Oh, no, that's not it. I'm sorry. While we're on food, I'm that big guy trying to give out food to everybody in the town. Sparrow House Ministry sent me a text today that they served 1,962 people in the month of November. The pantry will be closed on the 14th, which is their normal date, but they will be open on the 21st from 5:30 to 8, which will be, of course, the last time they're open before Christmas, so. And you just walk in and fill out a little form to help you fill that out and pick up your box and you're good to go. That'll be it. Thank you.
Okay. Jerry, did you have anything?
I just have one thing. I would really like to reach out to the public. People seem to continue to destroy our vases on Main Street. They did it yesterday or Saturday night. I don't know when it was. But it's really sad to see that it's happening and nobody sees anything happen. I thank you to Mike and his friend. They came and helped me because I thought I could push it up, but I couldn't. And then thank you to Chris Duffy from the fire department, and Ty. I can't think of the other young man's name, Nelson, Mr. Nelson. Elijah. They came and helped also, and we put the broken glass into bags, and they had a shovel and we put the dirt and stuff back. But these are expensive, and that tall vase has a good crack on it. I don't know if they can fix it. I'm sure somebody has cameras who can see it. I would be your detective and start looking. But again, seriously, citizens, if you're seeing this happening, please call the police department, call the comm center. That's all.
Okay. David, do you have anything?
No, not at the moment.
I don't have anything either.
I do not.
The only thing I'd gotten reminded that they did have the Thunder Pride at Savage Avenue. It was a project where the Lamar High School Student Council had worked with Lamar Parks and Rec Project last Friday, I believe, it was December the 8th. The city staff and the LHS Student Council volunteers worked together to make improvements on the west median of Savage Avenue. The two inner lanes of Savage Avenue and Thunder were blocked for a little while they did all this work. There was a huge help with, of course, the Lamar Parks and Rec, but we had donations from Brandon Aggregates, the Lamar Rotary, of course, the City of Parks, and then also with Lamar Light and Power. So they did a lot of different improvements on that, and I know there's even more coming. They were supposed to be having new lighting on the sculptures, some concrete work with the LHS letters on the west side of it. So there is quite a bit, it'll be improvements, and it's a good art medium that we're trying to do with that.
Could I add one thing?
Yes.
I think that it was a really neat thing to see when I went down there. All the different departments working together, the Public Works and Parks and Rec and Light and Power in there, and there was a lot of hands, and they had a lot of rock moved. You guys did a great job. It was an awesome time, and they had some burritos afterwards too. But anyway, those guys, it was a neat thing to see. They were all working hard, and they were sweating, and the weather was cool too, so they did good.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention Pat, of course, with Lamar Public Works, of course. So thank you guys, thank you all for the work. I know it's a huge thing for the community on Savage Avenue and kind of a pride thing with all of the artwork there. So thank you. Aside from that, we did have a meeting with Karen Bryant at PMC this morning for our monthly meeting with Prowers Medical, and things are going very well there. They've gotten 2 new surgeons that'll start in March. They have their OB department is doing very well, and
Almost to 100.
almost to 100. They're excited, trying to figure out when they'll hit 100, but they plan to do something special when they get to the 100. So things are moving forward at Prowers Medical Center. It was nice to have an opportunity to meet with her, and as we do every month. With that said, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, unless anybody had questions. Okay, seeing none, the next item is a public hearing for adoption of supplemental budget for the City of Lamar for current year ending in December 31st, 2023. So we would just need a motion to move into the public hearing.
So make a motion to
Move the
move.
public hearing.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor signify with an aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Joe?
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. So now we've entered into the public hearing. First off, we'll request the proof of publication from the city treasurer.
Yes, it was put on the building on Monday, the 4th. It was put in one paper on the 6th and one on the 7th, so it was published as required.
Okay? All right. Any other opening remarks now?
This is just something that we do annually if we've received in more revenue than we budgeted or have more expenditures for any reason in any fund. So this is something that we do at this time of year every year. So it's our standard supplemental budget to comply with the state laws.
Okay. All right. Are there any comments or questions from the council?
I don't have any.
With that said, I'll open the floor to the community. Is there anybody here that would like to speak against the supplemental budget? Is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of the supplemental budget? Seeing none, I'll close the floor. Do we have a motion to move out of the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to move out of the public hearing. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Council, knowing what we have found out during the public hearing, do we have a motion to approve the supplemental budget?
Well, it's the resolution.
Oh, it's the resolution, that's right, sorry. Well, it has city council action on there, that's why I was confused. don't need the action if we're going to do the resolution. All right, so we will bypass the item F, which was the city council action, and we'll move to the resolution discussion. We do have resolution 23-1201. This basically is discussing the revised.
So we're needing a supplemental in the general fund due to sales tax increase, and we've had some operational things that have came up, but mostly it's the revenue, and we also had a lot higher revenue and interest. The banks gave us a higher interest rate in '23, and it made a significant difference in our revenues for interest rates. Sales tax fund, of course, is every month you've listened to Linda say that we were up. So we do anticipate exceeding our budgeted revenues in sales tax. Unemployment, we had more claims than we had budgeted for. Fairmont, we had some increase in the revenues that we've taken in on lot sales. Airport fund, we approved you guys have approved a couple of grants that I hadn't budgeted for, so that's due to the increase in airport. And sanitation, we had some unanticipated revenues actually went above what we budgeted in landfill collections and also in interest. And also, our piece of equipment finally came in that we'd been waiting for over 2 years. So it did exceed the budget. We do have fund balance to cover those, so I'm just asking for approval of the resolution.
Okay. Do we have any questions for it on this resolution?
Does the resolution have to be read?
No. With no questions, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution amending the 2023 budget increase.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution amending the 2023 budget increase. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is appointment to the Lamar Housing Authority Board. This was initiated by one of the board members, but Rob, would you like to speak on
Sure.
this?
June resigned from the board. They needed to replace one application, and Sue Kilpatrick is the one that they want to, and the recommendation was you guys approve, so.
I move that we approve Sue Kilpatrick to replace June Unruh.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to appoint June Unruh to the Lamar Housing Authority Board.
Sue Kilpatrick.
Oh, sorry, Sue Kilpatrick for June Unruh to the Lamar Housing Authority Board. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Next item is to appoint a member to the Arkansas River Power Authority Board of Directors. Looks like we had a replacement for Hussein Hari. Rob?
That's right.
Hussein's term was up.
Yeah, his term was up, and now they need a 4-year term for him to, he basically, to get reappointed. So for a 4-year term this time.
And we've generally, as far as I know, for the last 14 years, we've always had the superintendent of light and power be on this board. So this is just a standard where they didn't open it up for applications, they just put him in.
It makes sense too.
Yeah. So council, what would you like to do?
So move to put Hussein back on for the 4-year.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to appoint Hussein Hari to serve a 4-year term on the ARPA board. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I don't know what happened. We had a glitch or something, but it failed. So,
Just hit. But it did pass. Okay. Moving on, we have proposed agreement for law enforcement and security services. This is initiated by Chief Miller. Looks like we have somebody here in his stead.
Chief Miller is ill,
Yeah.
So Ray Macias is going to speak on this.
Okay, Ray?
I was looking over the contract. I was advised it's the same as it was last year. We just need to get it approved for the next school year.
And this is for
Security for the school,
Lamar High School.
Lamar High School, and events that they have.
Oh, this is the annual agreement, okay?
It's security services for like prom and dances and things that are after
Like the football
hours.
games and all that stuff.
Football game.
Okay. All right, do you have any questions, council?
I've reviewed it, I don't have any issues with it.
The only thing I'd like to see is where it says user, and I can tell that's the superintendent's signature, but it just says RD2 school district. It'd be nice if it had that person's name like the rest of the contract does. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is for the future. I don't
Okay.
think it needs to be changed right now. 'Cause
He just asked that the superintendent's name be typed out.
Yeah, I
under
could do
there
that.
And then sign.
And then signed.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
So moved.
We'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proposed agreement for law enforcement and security services contract and allow the mayor to sign. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 6 is Chris Carell's land donation. This is initiated by Pat Mason. Looks like Pat's going to come talk to us.
Good evening, Mayor, and City Council members. So I'm going to turn my attention to Anne Marie right quick because I think she was actually kind of like the brains of the operation when it came to the median project up by the high school. So she put together the donations, kind of scheduled everything, so hats off to Anne Marie.
Good job.
Yeah. So back to the reason why I'm here. So about a month and a half ago, I was approached by Chris Carell, who owned a piece of property out there just off of Woodland Drive, kind of between Woodland Drive and Village Green Lane. And I believe he was wanting to develop it or sell it for a lot for a house, but the issue was a 14-inch water main that run through that property. So after some discussion with him, he more or less offered to donate the property to the city of Lamar. And we thought maybe it'd be kind of a win for him and a win for us, where it would protect that 14-inch water main from any future development on it. So I know, Lance, you've looked at it, and you'd asked me the question earlier today about, why not the rest of the water line? And I think I was away from this piece of paper at the time, and I realized what you were talking about. So the rest of that actually is already developed, but fortunately, it's not over the top of the water line, with the exception of maybe one garage here, possibly. So the rest of this is actually out in the frontage of the other properties that are developed already. So that's why it's not included with what he's given us on the map here. So this is all undeveloped right now. I believe this is all open space that is to remain that way as well, so.
Is that parcel for sale? Did they have it up for sale?
He had it up for sale, and then he realized the 14-inch water main was running through the center of it practically, so when you weigh the cost of moving the water line, which was substantial, it outweighed the potential cost a lot, so.
So he's just wanting to donate it to the city, and we'll just use it for future development or just leave it as is?
I think leave it as is, because of the water line being there, but fortunately, it is right along the edge of the walking trail, so it might be a good place to put some benches and plant a couple of shade trees or something. It's literally right on the edge of that trail, so.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions, council?
I don't have any.
I think what the plan is too is once this is really to proceed, get the council's direction to proceed on it, because there's going to be a cost associated with getting the survey done, which would be the city's responsibility. And once we have the legal description and we have a deed, we'll be able to present for the donation for Mr. Carell to sign, and then that would come back before the council for approval with a resolution to accept the property. So,
No, we've got somebody who's offered to help pay for half of the survey, so It's not a big cost to the city. It's something we can come out of pockets.
I think I estimated it to be around $1,400, and I believe Joe Smith's offered to basically pay half of that since he's borders the property to the north. So I think the idea would be is to get council's blessing to go ahead and proceed with it, and then come back with a resolution and a quit claim deed.
Do we have to prove the cost of the survey?
No. It's under your amount, so. Okay. So basically, we just need a motion to accept the donation so they can proceed. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And then you'll work up documentation and for the transfer.
Yep.
Do you think we may need a tax certificate for?
I've talked to Stephanie about this and asked, I just need a cost of what the land would be. And then that way
Chris.
yeah.
you'll need
And
the
then I
legal
can do a letter,
description
yes.
anyways, Right?
And the legal description, so we'll get that once we get the survey done. So once that all gets done, I just need a value of some sort, and then I can do them a letter.
All right.
Okay. So what is council's pleasure?
I'll make the motion to accept the land donation with required survey.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second, to accept the land donation. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 7 is award bid 43-014 for executive recruitment contract services for the police chief search. This is initiated by Christian Schwartz and Robert Evans. So, Rob?
Yeah, she did most of the work. I
Okay.
talked with Kyle, who has made his decision to retire. So then we have to go out and use our normal bid process, and so Kristen handles that really great. So this is going to be a new personnel movement within the city, and we're going to do it legally and correctly and get it done just right, get the right person here.
So we solicited proposals, we put together an RFP, Margaret worked on it, and then I fine-tuned it. We sent those out, they were mailed to 4 consulting firms that were on a list, and then we also advertised it in the local paper on November 16th. We received 2 proposals back, and they were accepted by me by 5 o'clock on December 5th, and then we held a bid opening on December 6th. I did acknowledge those bids, gave copies of those to Rob and Margaret, which they reviewed with me. We had one proposal from KRW Associates, which is out of Littleton, they're in Colorado. And then we did receive one from SGR, who we've used in the past, out of Texas. There was a significant difference in the price. KRW also has a retired police chief on their staff that they can utilize, so it was recommended that we go with KRW Associates, and we're just asking council to award that bid to them. We've also have an agreement that was sent by them. Lance has reviewed it. I believe Rob has also reviewed it. So we're asking for the mayor, to allow the mayor to also sign that agreement in this motion.
Okay.
I make a motion to award bid 43-014 for executive recruitment contracting services for the future police chief to KRW Associates LLC and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Before we vote, do we have you review this contract, Lance?
Yes. And I didn't see any issues with it.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, Actually, that's going to be a pretty big deal with
It
our
is.
new police chief. We really need to get this right. I know even though we're going out for an outside bidder or an outside company to help us do the search, local people will still be able to apply. Is that correct?
That's correct. They're gonna do they'll do you guys paneling also to figure out what you guys
Background checks
want.
and-
Yep, and you guys will be able to give your input before they go out.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew out there that, even though we're hiring this company, we're still leaving it open for local people to
Yep.
apply if they just so choose. So just wanted to make sure that was pointed out. All right, moving on to number 8, permission to apply for all funding for the wastewater fund for projects identified in the master plan. This was discussed at our last meeting because you needed to apply for a grant. And at the time, in the past, we had approved permission to Kristen to apply for all water funding, but not wastewater. But this will be water, wastewater, or anything related to wastewater fund projects as identified in the master plan.
Yeah, you actually gave me permission to apply for all funding for the wastewater treatment plant specifically. So last time when we brought
With
this
the
up,
water.
you asked me to bring back a motion where I could go ahead and apply for any grants that pertain to water or wastewater that have been identified in the master plan which you accepted. So all the capital projects identified in there. And of course, I will bring them back for any contracts with grants if we are awarded after I apply. So, and we are JVA, all of us are looking for grants right now and attending seminars and webinars and things, trying to get every funding possibility that we can for water. So this is just asking for permission to go ahead and apply for those if they're identified, the projects are identified in the capital plan of the accepted master.
And even though you're applying, once they've applied, we would still have to accept the grants once they're done.
Absolutely. And I will report to you if we do apply. I will bring that information to you at the meetings during my report
Okay.
so that you are on board and know exactly what we're applied for and what project it's for.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll make a motion for permission to be given to Kristen Schwartz to apply for all funding for the wastewater fund for projects identified in the master plan.
And allow the mayor to sign. As necessary.
And allow the mayor to sign as necessary on those applications.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to authorize the staff to apply for the funding available to complete all projects identified in the City of Lamar wastewater master plan and allow the mayor to sign.
Thank you.
All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Next item is resolution number 231202, a resolution supporting a grant application for the planning and capacity grant from the State Board and Great Outdoors Colorado Trust Fund, GOCO. Kristen?
Yes. So I did mention in my report earlier that we are getting ready to do final application for the GOCO grant for the Recreation Master Plan. As part of GOCO's requirements, they require a resolution. So before you is resolution number 231202, which is basically stating that the council supports this application and that you're authorizing us to go ahead and submit it to GOCO. So we're just asking for you to approve the resolution and allow the mayor to sign, and we'll turn it in as part of our application by Friday.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve a resolution number 23-12-02. A resolution supporting a grant application for the planning and capacity grant from the State Board of the Great Outdoors Colorado Trust Fund and allow the mayor to sign.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, now we have a string of resolutions. Agenda item number 10 is Resolution 23-12-03, which is a resolution to adopt 2024 rates and fee schedule. We've talked about this at previous work sessions. Kristen, would you like to speak on this?
I sure would. So you guys asked me to make a few changes and get with, Parks and Rec on their fees. So I left everything in red that was being proposed for this year, and then I highlighted in yellow the changes that you asked me to make or bring back. So there was a few of those. Let's see.
I think the one question I knew we had was, there was a discussion about the rental facilities and the different parks.
That's
and
correct.
The reason for that.
Right, and then one of them was to round the deposits for water, which we did. Tressa helped us with that, and Pat. And then there was also the permit fee for the burning for fire, raise it to 10. So you'll see that one highlighted. We did bring Anthony in to explain. He adjusted two of the structures for the rentals down. They were doing kind of an across-the-board increase, and that one hadn't been raised up. So Anthony did come, so he's here to answer any specific questions. But I did adjust two of those, and you'll see those highlighted in yellow. I can't find them, but I know they're in here.
So I think the question that they had last time was how you determine the rate between the different parks and the structures. If you could speak on that.
Absolutely. And so the rates, I think it was Councilman Mike that had the question on why we were increasing certain shelters more than the other, and that was an error in the formula on the Excel sheet, which is corrected on the highlighted area you'll see. So it was a 15%